Thank you for coming out to debate Chicago Group Field for tonight's contest. Starters first for the Steel City Ladies FC. Number 4, Peoria-UWS. Number 6, Peoria-UWS. Number 7, Lisa Milliken. Number 9, Catherine Moody. 19, excuse me. Next, number 18, Jamie Laniak. Number 23, Laura Stepniak. Number 15, Paris Canturta. Number 5, Alyssa Aguilar. Number 16, Sarah Washington.
Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's contest between Lady Steel City and MCS Peoria here on the Steel City FC YouTube channel. I'm your host, Eric McGill, and joining me in just a moment will be Bill Downing. We are going to be your commentators for tonight's match in the UWS. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Monday and is excited to watch some great UWS soccer here tonight. Here at the Page Medical Group Field, the home of Lady Steel City FC, we're going to go ahead and get right into the standings for the UWS while we're waiting on kickoff. In first place for the Midwest South Conference is the Chicago Mustangs at 18 points. MSC Peoria is going to be in second place with 6 points, tied with the Chicago Kicks. MSC Peoria is on top by goal differential. In fourth place is Our Lady Steel City FC with 3 points, and in fifth place is Indiana Elite FC on 0 points. Just waiting on a few things to get finished before we are starting up here. We were having roster announcements and starting lineups coming over our PA system tonight, courtesy of Bill Downing. And last time we were out here at DuPage Medical Group Field, we saw a pretty rough game between Steel City and the Mustangs. I believe it was a 4-0 victory for the Mustangs. It was a very interesting game, to say the least, from the Steel City side of it. As we kick off tonight, Bill Downing is joining me now in the booth. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Doing well there, Eric. Good night for soccer here as we're underway.
Absolutely beautiful night here at DuPage Medical Group Field. And let's go ahead and get these starting lineups to you guys right after kickoff. We're going to start with MSC Peoria, the visiting team, starting at goalkeeper Paige Smith, defender Rachel Thomas. Kaylee McClanahan is another defender for MSC Peoria. Erica Bossard, number 23, and Peyton Williams. Angelic Aikida, Sierra Kinnick, and Meredith Belrose to round out the midfield here. And starting at forward, Carolina Gomez, Bryn Jacoby, and those are the two forwards to round out the lineup for MSC Peoria.
And for the Steel City Ladies FC, we'll take a look at the defense set up by number 4, Victoria Alvarado. Karis Katranita, number 24. Marissa Anderson, number 37. And the keeper tonight is going to be Samantha Took. They have her down as number 100. And then on offense, you got Azalea Daffodil. Midfielder Lisa Milliken. Catherine Nudie. Laura Stepniak. Jamie Beniak. Sarah Leutchinger. And Alyssa Aguilar. Go ahead.
Did you just see that throw in?
No, I did not.
She did like a somersault to throw it in.
You only see that stuff on TV.
That was incredible.
We must be on TV then. No, I was doing the starting lineups, and that is the starters for Steel City FC for the ladies. Looking to get into the win column, as you mentioned, 1-5. The Mustangs from Chicago still undefeated on top of the Midwest South Conference.
Yeah, that was an incredible game they played on last Wednesday here at DuPage Medical Group Field. 4-0 for the Mustangs, and it was sheer dominance. They utilized the wings a lot, and I would like to see what changes ladies still. It'd be nice to see if they took some notes.
Well, that's pretty powerful. You take a look at the top of the conference at plus 22, and then you take a look at the bottom, Indiana Elite FC, the minus 24. And you can definitely see that the cream of the crop is definitely at the top as far as this conference goes.
Absolutely. This conference seems to be a little bit – the Mustangs are up top, and everyone's relatively close within the middle. Mm-hmm. If someone can they just need to make a few tweaks to their game plans, and someone could easily come up there and challenge the Mustangs for that top spot. As the offsides flag comes up and the run is stopped there for the team from Peoria.
Taking a look at that was Azalea Daffodil trying to break out for, I believe that's Steel City in the all black trimmed in red. See them.
Yes, earlier today they were in like silver warm-ups, and we were worried that we would not be able to see their numbers tonight, so that change was definitely very, very helpful for us here in the booth. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the YouTube chat. We would love to answer them. And we hope you are enjoying tonight's UWS game between Lady Steel City FC and MSC Peoria.
This is a big contest here for Steel City FC.
Yes, it is. Because if they win this, they get some points back finally, and they'll be drawing with MSC Peoria and the Kicks. They'll only be behind on goal differential, which could be pretty impactful come late in the season. And that's one thing with how soccer standings work, with how like baseball standings work, like how we call sometimes here we're at the home of the Joliet Slammers. It's usually more about wins and losses as opposed to the soccer system, which is points. Mm-hmm. You get 3 points per win, 1 point per draw, and 0 points for each loss. Goal differential means a lot come the end of the season, especially if it's a tight race.
And I believe that has a big effect also if you're playing them in the playoffs when it comes down to, again, I'm still learning the game of soccer, but I know that when you get into a certain situation, in order for a team to advance, I was watching the Premier League, and they were talking about the differential being important, that they had to score 4 goals ahead of the other team that they're playing in order for. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
I'm still trying to understand what that means.
With the Premier League, how it works is you have your teams at the table. 1 through 4 get Champions League spots, I believe, and then 5 and 6 get Europa League spots. So winning the league isn't even the biggest thing for Premier League teams. Obviously, you want to win that title, but to get to play in the Champions League and have a chance to win that, where you play against the best teams from around, the region of Europe,
yeah.
That's a big factor for them. And the fact that you can still get a chance to do that in 4th place is a big deal.
There was a big upset a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Leicester City that
Yes.
came out of nowhere. That if you bet on them, you made a lot of money because of the fact that, well, they weren't picked to do much of anything, and then they got that champions exemption for the following year. And you're right, it does mean a lot, especially overseas. When you can play in that upper tier of the Premier League, well, that brings so much to the city and the fans.
Yeah, and that Leicester team was that team was incredible. Some of their big names have gone to play for Man City, who's been very dominant this year, and Riyad Mahrez and N'Golo Kante playing for Chelsea now. Like, Jamie Vardy's even still putting on by Leicester and put on a show for everyone in the Premier League. Like, it's crazy how soccer works over there, and you can really come up from nothing to just be a superstar.
It is. It's pretty neat.
So here comes the first free kick of the night for Steel City. Just a little bit overhit. We did not have enough pace to catch up to that, and it goes out for a goal kick for MSC Peoria.
Trying to see who number 9 is. She's closest to get a foot on it. Catherine Nudie was closest to that, as you saw the wall being pretty much set up, and the ball was played, right between the wall and the opposing team's other players, kind of trying to get in the way. And it almost worked, Eric. It was close.
It was very, very close. And another thing to note, actually, is for big soccer teams right now, we're going through a serious time for them in the summer transfer window. It's not... They don't have a trade deadline like traditional sports over here do, like the NFL and the MLB. They have 2 separate windows, and within those windows are when you can trade players. So you have January, which is just for January, I believe, and then you have the summer transfer window, which I believe lasts 2 to 3 months, somewhere in there.
Right.
And those are the only times that you can get players from around the world to come and join your club. And I'm interested to see who players or teams like Man City, Man United, these top guys in the Premier League sign coming out of it, especially after the Euros that are going on right now. I wonder who the young talent stars are going to be who get picked up playing for these smaller countries like Russia, Denmark, Croatia. You've seen insane players from those countries come out and play on the big stages. And if someone plays good within these Euros, they could easily get picked up by one of these Premier League teams.
Almost a breakout there for Steel City.
Setting up one of the first set pieces of the night. This will be the first corner for Steel City. Corners have been a big factor in these Lady Steel City games, as we saw against the Kicks in opening night. They scored one, and all of them had a big impact.
Boy, Steel City just getting knocked down all over the place and no calls.
That definitely looked up here like a handball on MSC Peoria, but nothing was called.
Sure did.
Flag goes up, looking like a foul going to MSC Peoria, so a set piece will come in here. Free kick for Steel City FC. I know the men's team likes to whip it into the box sometimes off of these set pieces. I am excited to see what their strategy is, especially coming from this side of the box. I've noticed when they take on goal directly in front, they usually go for a shot on. We'll see what number 2 here has.
Stepniak.
And a shot on goal. What a fantastic goal!
Well, you don't see that very often, and that came off the foot of Laura Stepniak as she was just trying to play it toward the box. And usually they're looking for a header or a foot or something there, Eric. And my gosh, that ball went up and over the keeper for a goal.
That was absolutely beautiful. Fantastic free kick there from Stepniak. And it's looking like tonight the set pieces are going to go in the way of Steel City instead of last week. It's a great start, up 1-0 early on for Lady Steel City.
And that was off the penalty and the foul by Angelique Aikida. And then that free kick in the goal by Stepniak. Boy, that's a huge, huge start for Steel City FC, especially when you take a look at where their record is and how important every game from here on out is to get toward the top of that conference. That's a big momentum booster right there.
It absolutely is, especially considering they get this win. They deny MSC Peoria points, and they gain 3, so they will be tied in points with MSC Peoria and the Kicks. Everyone is going to be chasing the Mustangs now, especially if they get these points tonight.
Boy, 18 points right out of the gate for the Mustangs. They've played very, very well.
Some good play down the wing there. Looked like it went out off of the foot of an MSC Peoria player, so that will be a throw-in now for Lady Steel. I guess I was incorrect, and it went out off of the foot of a Steel City player, so the throw-in's now for MSC Peoria.
Rachel Thomas with the throw-in for Peoria.
Good try for a through ball there. Great job for the defender to stick her foot out and stop that.
I like the pressure early on here by Steel City. A couple breakouts. First one was offside, and then the penalty against Aikida, and then the goal by Stepniak. And they're really aggressive to start off this contest, Eric, and I like the pace that Steel City's trying to set up.
They're definitely controlling it more than they were last week, which is a great sight to see. That's one thing I wanted more out of them last week, was controlling the pace and the flow of play, not allowing themselves to just get run over. And now they're the ones who seem to be controlling the pace of play, and it makes a big difference.
Throw in there by Bassard.
Good try for a flick. It goes right back to the feet of the MSC Peoria defenders here. That would be number 3 for MSC Peoria, Kaylee McClanahan.
I really like the way that Daffodil's already coming out very aggressive here on the near side. Anything close to her, and she's trying to advance that ball. She's playing very, very well, trying to be very aggressive in the middle third and trying to get Peoria to be less aggressive on defense, and she's trying to take advantage of that here early on.
A big thing that would be great to see is more runs from this Steel City team down the wings. If they can utilize those wings, they will be golden, because they are controlling how the center of the pitch is being attacked right now for both teams. If they can just widen the field and get the wings more active, they will be in for a good time as the ball rolls right into the keeper's hands for a goal kick.
Dangerous lapse in defense there for Peoria, and that was Nudie that was almost able to get to that ball.
What a run. Fantastic pass. No offsides flag. And what a save coming out. Unfortunately, for Steel City, bounces right back to the feet of MSC Peoria. And it goes in for a goal.
Steel City looks like they got caught flat-footed there as far as defensively concerning. And they definitely went in. The first save there by Took. Unfortunately, she gave up that rebound, and we know that in the game of hockey, usually rebounds end up in goals, and that's exactly what happened here. And MSC Peoria has tied this contest up 1-1.
Great job by the lady who got the rebound to be there. Sometimes some of those players don't follow up, and rebound opportunities like that are lost, so that was fantastic from MSC Peoria to have a player there to score the rebound and put this game at a tie 1-1.
Boy, and here they come right back again, Eric. Again, constant pressure. That was Bryn Jacoby, I believe, with the goal for Peoria. As you mentioned, the rebound came out, and she didn't miss the second time.
She most definitely did not miss, as we see some pressure coming out here from both teams Both teams being pretty aggressive, a little bit sloppy with the play, some sloppy touches, a few sloppy passes. We'll see when that's going to end up costing them, as the offside flag comes up against Lady Steel City. Is going to result in a free kick for MSC Peoria.
Zalia Daffodil, again, we called her name quite a few times, and she's trying to get the advantage as far as the defender that she's working up against, number 13, Angelique Aikida. Aikida already with a foul, and that foul ended up being a goal by Stepniak after that foul. So, I mean, again, aggressive play, especially by Daffodil here on the near side, trying to catch the defense, being a little lackadaisical, and they've already been able to put one behind.
And I definitely will say this matchup has looked a lot more tight than the one last week against the Mustangs. The Mustangs just look like a completely different team to everyone I've seen out here so far. There's a reason they're on top of the table right now.
Aikida seems to be a point person right out of the gate. There's McClanahan again here on the near side.
And as we watch this MSC Peoria team, we'll need to try to pick up on some of their tendencies, because if Lady Steel City can exploit those tendencies, then they have a very good chance to win tonight if this is a close game going into the second half.
Well, it looks like the middle third, as far as Peoria offensively, they're playing a little game of keep away and trying to catch Steel City FC, trying to come out a little bit farther defensively, and then they're trying to put that long pass toward Took, and that's going to be dangerous. But also, those long passes that they're doing here in the middle third for Peoria, if Steel City FC is able to pick one of them off, it could be an odd player rush, and that's something that I know that Steel City FC wants to do. They want to pressure Peoria into making mistakes.
Absolutely, and if they can catch one of these defenders out of position, get the ball back, they definitely have a good chance to score with Daffodil, as you're saying. Getting the ball now, but also able to make some fantastic runs. And just a little overhit there from Daffodil right to the keeper's feet, but I definitely saw what she was looking for, looking to try and play a through ball to number 9 there.
To Catherine Nudie. Yeah, they're trying those long forward passes big time right here. And I really, again, I talk about aggressiveness. They definitely are doing it.
No flag coming up there, so it's going to be a one-on-one on the wing. The Peoria player gets by right into Took's hands, and she's going to pick it up, going to be able to boot it out and get the ball clear for Lady Steel City FC. Great job by Took there and in stopping that chance.
Kaylin Steffens, the midfielder number 9 on that play for Peoria. You're right. And we have a Steel City FC player down, and I don't know if she's holding her knee or her ankle, but there's a header toward Took. And right now the main concern is the Steel City FC player that's been down, and they're definitely calling for the trainer right away, and that's not a good sign.
Absolutely not, especially on this turf field. You never know what could happen. Foot could be planted the wrong way and then just turn, and
that's what I kind of thought I saw, was the foot planting and not giving. This turf is multi-use. You can put this up and you got good drainage, and this will drain very, very nicely. And the cost of repairing the field, I mean, you don't have to worry. This isn't natural grass. You don't have all that stuff that's going on. And it's a cost-cutting measure. A lot of teams are going to this turf. Unfortunately, you've seen a lot of those injuries that when you plant your foot down in this turf, it doesn't give like natural grass. And we hope that everybody is okay. We can't see the number because she's laying on her back, but they are looking at, looks like her left knee. And when they do those tug and pull things on knees, that they're looking for that little bit of play maybe with the tendons in the knee. And I know from experience, when I blew out my knee, that was the very first thing that they did. And Well, mine was like a rubber band, so let's it wasn't a good situation, and we hope that she's going to be okay.
Definitely all the best wishes for her. I believe number 16 is who that is that's down.
That is
Lochlinger.
Yeah, boy, we don't want to see that, the midfielder. But both teams coming back to the respective bench areas, getting some water as they tend to the injured player on the field.
Definitely don't like knee injuries, especially here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's the knees and stuff, unfortunately, the knees, the backs, the shoulders, the ankles, the elbows, the major joints in your body. That's one of the things you definitely don't want to see. She is up, which is good. Nice round of applause from the fans here at DuPage Medical Group Field, too. And it's a slow walk, and you definitely don't want to push the issue here, especially if there is an injury. You don't want to aggravate it anymore.
Yeah, definitely do not want to do that. So we'll see if we get a substitution here for Lady Steel City, or if the trainer takes her off for a minute and checks her out and tells her she can come back on, as we do sometimes in soccer.
Now in that situation, now she's starting to run off a little bit quicker. In that situation, Steel City FC, will they play a person down then during this injury while she's out? I'm not sure what the ruling is. I don't know if they give them time to get better, but I believe she has to come out because of the stoppage. Oh, you can definitely tell she was not feeling very good.
Yep, she was not feeling very good at all. Let's see how many players are out there for him.
Trying to see.
It looks like there's only 10 people out there. I could be miscounting, but
yeah, they're definitely doing the drills on the knees right now. That's what they're making her do.
Yep. So they will be playing one woman down here for a little bit, seeing if she will be able to come back on and play, or if they will need to use a substitute this early on in the game.
Sarah Leuchinger is the player in question that was down, and we definitely hope, Eric, that she's going to be okay. She's trying it on the sidelines, so we'll see how quickly they can get her back in. I know that you mentioned a substitute. They wear the red, the different colored jerseys when they're not playing, so they know who's playing and who's not playing. So there's no quick switches, out of nowhere. You don't want to do that for sure, but looks like Leuchinger is testing out her leg, and looks like she might be okay, be able to get back in, hopefully.
Seems to be moving pretty well. I don't know if I'd be able to move that well after a knee injury, so definitely looks like she might be coming back in here relatively soon. But for now, Steel City's playing a player down. We'll see if that comes back to cost them. Hopefully it will not, but it definitely could. And even if Steel City had to go to a sub, that could play into the strategy of the late game. I've noticed they usually use their subs relatively about the middle part of the second half, around the 70th minute. And that would throw a wrench in it, because they would be down to 2 subs left for the rest of the game. They'd have to play a lot more strategically.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get down that close, especially when you have injuries that could possibly happen, or anything else like a yellow or red card, a couple of yellow cards or a red card, and takes that player out for that game and then the following game, or whatever the ruling is as far in the UWS. But I know that 2 yellow cards, you're out for the remainder of that game. A red one's automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely, if you do get down a player due to an injury, as you mentioned, you got 2 left on the bench, you're in trouble then.
And it looks like Lochinger is going to come back on, so that's fantastic for Lady Steel City here.
Yeah, that is good. And she's running back out there, and we'll see how aggressive the midfielder is after coming off for a couple minutes due to possible lower body injury. What a lot of contact.
Very, very aggressive these ladies are, especially tonight in comparison to the last 2 games we've had here at DuPage Medical Group Field.
Yeah, you got to see the last game against the Mustangs. As many points as they're putting up, even though Steel City lost that contest, they kept it relatively close. You know, a 4-0 against a team that, you know, is the goal differential of 22. I mean, that's pretty good. They've only given up 2 goals and scored 24. So that's a pretty good number to have.
In 6 games as well, yeah. Wouldn't that would average out to be 4 goals a game, wouldn't it?
It would be.
So
now you're asking me to do math. After a long day of work, I can't. 2 + 2 is difficult right now.
We definitely have fun up here.
Yes. Daffodil just missed that one on the header, so it's going to go to Peoria on the throw-in.
No foul called there after the rough contact. So we will play on.
It's like they're letting them play, and you know I'm hoping they stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they're going to let them play now, when it gets down to crunch time, you know you want to see the consistency out of the umpires for the contest and make sure that you know let the players dictate the outcome of the contest. You know, you're going to call the fouls if they're there for sure, but right now they're letting them play.
They are most definitely letting them play. It's nice to see a game that's the refs aren't interrupting the flow of play with calling too many fouls, especially over little bumps and bruises.
Right. Yeah, they are. They're letting them play aggressively. You know, we've seen quite a few down here go out on the end line and some pushing and shoving, trying to keep the Steel City player away from it so that it would be a free kick for the keeper. Smart play, though. I mean, you got your back to the referees. You might as well do whatever you can. You know, it's not a foul till you get caught.
Yeah, most definitely it's not a foul until you get caught. But as long as they're not playing dirty, I don't see a problem with letting them have a little bit of pushing and shoving, you know.
Agreed. You want some of that physicality in this, you know, being the game of soccer. You know, I was talking to Kylie about that in one of our broadcasts, and, you know, soccer right now is the leading sport with concussions in the country. People would say, well, why not hockey and football? Well, I knew a neurologist that worked with concussions in high school football players, and he specifically straight out told me it's soccer. Soccer is where most concussions happen. You would think that, you know, how's that possible? You know, but the heads to heads, the feet to the head, and, you know, the contact, even like falling down just like that. I mean, this turf is unforgiving. This is basically like cement underneath here, except for those little pellets of rubber tire that's chewed up and so forth. You know, you've played on it before.
Mm-hmm.
We walked on it prior to tonight's game. It's hard. It's rock hard, and if you fall down, it's gonna hurt.
It's extremely hard, and that's why. If you see like a baseball game on a turf field, after a little bit of rain, that's why you see them just slide for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So falling down on it is not fun at all.
No. You know, you get on grass, you can kind of get away with. There's a nice forward pass trying to find Daffodil again.
Just a little overhit there from our midfielder there, trying to pass to Daffodil in the penalty box. But we've had a very good start to the game. Even though we're tied 1-1, I think Steel City's put on a pretty good performance so far. And moving forward, making improvements. It's a great thing to see from a team, especially in this situation where, you know, like we've said before, they will be tied technically for second place, only down on goal differential. That they win one more game and Peoria or the Kicks lose, they're technically in second place after that.
So every point is very, very important right there. That's going to be a...
Looks like it went out for a goal kick here for Lady Steel City. Coming back towards us here in the booth here at DuPage Medical Group Field.
Samantha took number 100. I thought maybe there was a typo, but no, it's 100 on her blue jersey that she's wearing.
I wonder how she got that number.
Well, I've only seen single or double numbers. Yeah, I've not seen a triple number such as 100. You're right. That is kind of a good question. Maybe we'll get that answered the next time we're on the air.
As we see Peoria playing a good through ball here into the box, taking on Took one-on-one and passes it for another goal for Peoria here. Did you happen to see what number that was, Bill?
I'm looking right now. I see who it is. She just needs to turn around so I can see that number. It actually might be the same one from before. And, well, I tell you, what a breakdown right down the seam defensively for Steel City. And Peoria took advantage of that on that long pass. And that was...
Looks like they're following number 10 on the camera, so that would be Carolina Gomez. Fantastic goal there. Great job. You got to give credit where it's due, though. That Peoria player who took on the defender to get the one-on-one with Took, passes it off perfectly, not selfish, gives a teammate a chance to score a goal.
She played that ball forward so well, Eric. There was such good English on it. It was between two Steel City FC players, and then they got the initial pass. Then it was almost like a tip drill. It went right off the foot, and the number 10 Gomes just took it right up the middle, and she ended up getting the first shot. Well, it looked like she was going to take a shot, and she just dipped it off. It was like a 2-on-1 breakaway, and there was nothing that Took could do, and they're down by 1.
So here we are about just under 35 minutes into this contest with Peoria leading up the Lady Steel City team 2-1 here at DuPage Medical Group Field on this beautiful, beautiful Monday night. We definitely thank you for joining us on the YouTube broadcast. As Steel City are looking to get that goal back right here, passing it on the wing, looking like a cross is coming in. Daffodil trying to stop the ball.
Ooh.
Goes down very hard.
Oh, they're going to say that's on Daffodil. It looked like, wow, and she's down too, getting up very slow. That looked like it could have went either way. I was leaning more toward the Peoria player really, really playing aggressive, and that was McClanahan. Well, she went body to body, but I thought for sure she was more the aggressor. But the call goes against Steel City.
I believe that was mostly because both feet came off the ground, kind of going towards the Peoria player.
Yep. Can't do that. You gotta keep your feet planted. Once you come off your feet, then yeah, you would be listed as kind of the aggressor, unfortunately, in that situation.
But we'll see what type of changes are made for this Lady Steel City team to get this goal back. Hopefully they'll get it back before halftime, go into the locker room, tie game. You can basically come out as if it's the start of the first half again. Brand new ball game. But if they don't get the goal, they'll have to come back and score at least 2 to take home the 3 points here in the second half.
Yeah, you don't want to go into halftime reeling from your first half play. You came out aggressive, you scored the first one, but your defense, playing a little soft there right down the seam in Peoria's offensive zone, and you got to be careful. There's really nothing that Took could do. I mean, she made some spectacular stops already, but when you're on a 2-on-1 and that player pulls your attention that far out of the goal, there's really nothing you can do, especially on the other pass.
Flag just now coming up for offsides here, unfortunately.
Well, that was a late.
That was a very late offsides flag. Because that would have been a fantastic run there from Steel City to get in.
That was Aguilar on the breakout. She tried. And it looked like it was, I think it was close.
It was close. I'm sure the line judge has a better view than we do up here in the booth.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
That's 3 calls of offsides when we've thought they've been in for Lady Steel City. That's costing you. You're just giving away your chances completely by running offsides. You got to time your runs up, because some of these runs have been incredible. If they were just half a second later, they'd be onside and we'd have a perfect chance to score a goal. Now Peoria looking to make some aggressive play. Ball going off the Steel City defender right into the Peoria player's feet, and she still ends up with it. Little cross that is off the top of the Steel City player's head. A collision with Took, and now the ball has been kicked out.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Again, Took is trying to decide whether or not she wants to stay close to the goal or she wants to come out, because it all kind of depends on what she sees defensively in front of her. If she sees the players out of position, she's going to come out. You know, she really doesn't have a choice. She's got to come out of the goalie box, and she has to be more aggressive. And unfortunately, if Peoria can see that and use that to their advantage.
Another bit of good offensive play here from Peoria. A shot on goal. Fantastic save there from Took. Ball falls right back to Peoria, and the shot goes just a little wide there. Could have possibly been 3-1 here. That was a great chance from Peoria. Fantastic save from Took, and good job to get the ball back for her team.
Boy, Took again. We use the terminology. She's standing on her head right now. She is keeping this game close. Even though they're down by 1, spectacular play in the goal by the keeper, Samantha Took.
And that's one thing we've noticed even against the Kicks and last week. With losing 4-0, it could have been 8 or 10 had she not been in goal. So fantastic job from her. Definitely keeping this team in contention in most of the games.
Boy, Daffodil right there with a shot opportunity, not able to do anything with that. Donahue in goal for Peoria. When you can see that shot clearly from that distance, you're going to make the save 100 out of 100. You got to put some bodies in front. You got to cause a little disruption. And right now, Steel City just not getting the breaks in their offensive zone.
And it looks like the defense was collapsing there again a little bit differently touched pass there. It looked like Peoria could have been in the back line. They need to keep their defense strong and steady because they seem to just be falling apart anytime Peoria starts to get the ball past the halfway line.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree with you.
Fantastic ball played there. We're going to see if all team.
Nice pass forward there by Carolina Gomes. She really saw the offense or the defense being really aggressive, and she was able to put it between 2 defenders. And she had a wide open teammate there on the wing, and she almost made it all the way in to Took again.
So coming off of this goal kick here, Steel City definitely needs to look to start pushing the tempo a little bit more. About 5 minutes left in the half here before we go to a break. Steel City needs to get a goal so they can go into the half with this tie game, get a little more momentum on their side, because they've been playing very well up until about the past 5 minutes, and ever since then their defense has just kind of started to crumble. They're allowing through balls directly through the middle. Wingers are just getting open for Peoria.
Right.
They need to figure it out on that back line.
The defenders for Steel City are playing aggressive, as you mentioned, out on the wings, but they're leaving that interior defense open right down the seam. And, Took can only stop so many shots. You've got to get that interior defense. The wings are strong, but right now everything up the middle is going their way.
Beautiful run coming in. Is anything going to be called here? It definitely looked like the player for Peoria just fell over. I'm glad the ref saw that as well.
Unfortunately, they're going to give him a corner. You're right. That looked like the Peoria player just fell down, but they're going to award them with a corner.
So the ball ended up going out off of the Steel City player's foot, and they're playing a short corner. Haven't seen many of those this year. With a cross coming into the box right into Took's hands. Fantastic job from her to come up, get the ball early, not allow them to create any extra chances for themselves off of potential rebounds.
So it looked like a foul going to be called against Peoria. And at this point, if you're Steel City, you want to get to that ball as quickly as possible. You're running out of time here in the first half.
Absolutely. You need to make the most out of every chance you get. This will be a big one. About 42 minutes in here. And a free kick going Steel City's way. Big boot into the box. Hit off of a Peoria player's foot. I don't know if that was the best decision from that defender, because that's going to result in a corner here for Steel City. And this could be big if they can get that goal back right here. Potentially scoring like the Mustangs did last week, scoring directly from the corner or off of a header here. That would bring that momentum right back. And that would be 2 goals off of set pieces tonight. I'm sure Peoria would be kicking themselves going into the half, knowing they basically allowed some free goals instead of goals in the run of play.
Aguilar with the corner for Steel City.
Big boot into the box here. Off the rebound, ball is hit out into the bleachers here at DuPage Medical Group Field, so that chance is squandered for Lady Steel City. It's going to be a goal kick here for MSC Peoria.
Well, they had a ton of players just loaded just outside the 6-yard box, just in front of Donahue. And, man, that was close. That was a close one. But, again, you had too many bodies stuck together. You almost had to have them a little bit more separation, so when you get that rebound like they did, you have a player there and you don't allow too much time for the ball to be played. You want to have that action going back toward that keeper.
As we see Peoria get the ball down the field using the wing. Ball goes out of bounds, hits one of our sponsor signs in left field here as it goes out for a goal kick. But that run from Peoria right there was almost dangerous. A 1-2, playing it back down the wing, getting a good cross in. They've been looking super solid offensively here in the last 15 minutes or so. It looks like Lady Steel City is just going to have to go into halftime, talk in the locker room, figure out what adjustments they're going to need to make, and come out here and put the pressure on like they were early on in this first half rather.
They're going to have to play a strong 45, and I think you go back to their game plan. The first 5-6 minutes of this contest was, I think, what we want to see out of Steel City, at least in the second half, because that's how they scored their goal, being aggressive on offense and being stingy on defense, and they've lost that after that first goal.
And now you see Peoria just pinging the ball around, kind of like how the Mustangs were doing last week, trying to make the defenders for Steel City commit to something so they can open up their own run. And they've been doing a great job of it here. And the passes are hard, smooth, perfectly right to the feet of their players, not touching it at all.
It just seems like Steel City right now, they're positional-wise, they're out of position a little bit, and Peoria is taking advantage of that at this point. And when you look to try to move the ball forward and to play it forward, you got too many players in one area.
This could potentially be the last chance here for Lady Steel City. They need to make the most of it. We will still probably have a little bit of extra time here for the injury time that we took off, so it'll probably be a couple extra minutes added on. But according to the clock here, we've hit the 45 minutes, so this could potentially be the last chance.
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah, let's see what they do with it here. They tend to like to boot the ball up as far as they can into the box. We'll see if someone can get a head on it. Seems to be just a little overhit, and they're going to let it go out of play.
Utilize as much time as you can right now as Peoria go into halftime with the lead. Don't make any mistakes this late in the first half.
Yep, just if you're the goalie here, boot it as far as you can and hope the ref blows his whistle twice to send you to halftime.
Correct. Take your time. You know, you've got the clock in your favor and you got the scoreboard in your favor, so take your time.
Nice little flick on there from the Peoria player. And a foul called, looking like it's going to be against Steel City here.
Yeah, they're going to call that one, I believe, on Daffodil. She was a little aggressive there.
Been calling her name out a lot tonight.
Sure has. And that was Bassard with the free kick after the foul.
Looks like Peoria is going to start to play for possession as they pass the ball up, get it into the 6-yard box. Great move, and that looked like it could be a penalty from up here. What was your opinion on that, Bill?
It was an aggressive tackle, but that right there will end the first half. I agree. That was an aggressive tackle, but you know what? They've been consistent as far as letting them play. But yeah, that was a little hard from all the way up here. We could see it, but 2-1's the score at halftime, and Steel City finds themselves down by 1. What do you think that they need to do, Eric, in the second half? I mean, I think the game book, the game plan, the first 5 minutes, you got to see that again, because that's when they were their most aggressive. That's when they were able to move the ball forward. They had a lot more confidence. It seemed like, as you mentioned, the last 35 or so minutes they were playing on their heels, and Peoria took advantage of that.
Definitely think they need to look into their defensive scheme, how they're going to be running it next half, because like you said, early in the first half, they were rock solid at the back, but they started to leak. Center back started to move out towards the wings more than they started to get through on the seams. They just need to figure out where their back line is going to be positioned and stay there. You can work forward a little bit, but don't work side to side. Trust the people around you to help you, especially your wing backs. If your wing backs can help the center backs out by covering that, they don't have to move from the center, and then they take away the seam there.
It seemed like they were very tentative. You know, they came out aggressive offensively, and then they kind of played back a little bit. They tried those long forward passes, and they weren't working the speed of Peoria, MSC, Peoria, especially defensively. They were able to play kind of right into what Steel City was trying to do after they gave up that first goal. And it's like a light was switched, and Peoria said, not so fast. They became the aggressor, and they were able to put 2 past Took, but you got to give Took, you got to give her a lot of credit. She really played some really good keeper there for a while. She was able to stop everything coming at her, but unfortunately gave up the big rebound. Then they put one by, and then the 2-on-1, there was really nothing she could do. Yeah,
Took has had a very good game. If it weren't for her, it would probably be 3 or 4-1 right now. So definitely have to give her the credit that is due. She's played fantastic for Lady Steel City. We'll see if she can keep that up when we come into the second half. We're going to head to a commercial break, though, right now at the half. It is MSC Peoria 2, Lady Steel City 1. We'll see you in a few minutes on the Steel City FC YouTube channel.